Hey everyone, my name is Gage Clow, and I'm a student of Global Health and Biology at Arizona State University, and I want to talk a little bit today about HIV testing. So, before I start, I want to thank everyone for clicking on this video. It really means a lot to me, and I think it's really great that everyone's taking their first steps in learning about HIV and the testing process. So, thank you so much. Also, before I get into HIV testing, I want to talk a little bit about myself. So, before I got to college, I really didn't know much about HIV because in the United States, we don't really talk about HIV. It's a lot like in Tanzania. HIV is kind of stigmatized, it's shoved to the side, it's taboo because of the fact that it's sexually transmitted and that it often affects a lot of gay men. So I just want to say that I was right where everyone is, you know? Everyone starts off somewhere, and, you know, I used to be there, so. Now that I've learned a little bit about HIV, I want to share the knowledge with you. So, thank you so much for clicking on this video. If at any point during the discussion you feel uncomfortable, feel free to click off the video. I'm not going to be offended, I'm not going to be hurt or anything. I understand it's kind of a tricky subject, so if you want, click back on or stay off. It's totally fine. Thank you. So, HIV testing. I want to start off by saying HIV has no cure on the market today. However, there are great treatments available for people who are HIV positive that are effective and great. The reason that testing is so important is because testing allows people to access these treatments. A person cannot access HIV treatment without being tested positive on an HIV test. Additionally, testing is important because you can't tell who has HIV without a test. HIV presents itself in kind of weird ways sometimes, so it's important that testing happens because it's the only accurate measure of whether or not someone has HIV. Talking about testing, additionally, testing is fast, free, and confidential. I'm going to talk a little bit more about that. Testing is fast. It has about a 20-minute delay between blood draw or saliva draw and finding out whether or not the test went red positive or negative. Testing is free or cheap, depending on your area, which I believe here it's free. So testing does not cost anything. And testing is confidential, which this one is very important, I know, to a lot of people in Tanzania, because testing, people don't necessarily always want to share their HIV status. And with the system of HIV testing, a person doesn't have to. The test results stay between the person who has received them and their healthcare provider in order to access treatment. Additionally, I want to talk a little bit about how testing works. So testing measures for HIV antibodies in the blood or the saliva. There are at-home test kits available. However, it's recommended that a person who wants to get tested go in to see a physician because of the fact that HIV tests are more accurate when performed by a physician, and the person, if they do happen to test positive for HIV, does have access to counseling and treatment afterwards. So at-home tests are great, they're just a little bit less accurate, and they prevent people from panicking and freaking out without access to treatment immediately, which I think is great. With a test, there are two major outcomes that could happen. There is HIV positive and HIV negative. So with an HIV positive test, this means that the test has detected HIV antibodies in the blood and that a person can now access treatment for HIV. With HIV negative, this basically means that there was no finding of HIV antibodies in the blood or saliva, and that a person should, for a more accurate result just in case, avoid all HIV exposures for the next 3 months and then come in and test again. So just to quickly wrap up, the important parts about testing is that A person can't access treatment without testing, and you can't know who has HIV without testing. Testing is fast, it's free, and it's confidential, so there's really no reason not to do it. A test can either read HIV positive or HIV negative, and either way, a person will be fine regardless. Additionally, testing uses either a physician's care or an at-home test, and while it is recommended that a physician does do it because of the follow-up care, an at-home test is a great alternative. Thank you so much for listening about HIV testing. I really appreciate everyone taking the steps to learn more about health in general and HIV. Thanks, and have a good day.